Hey! Welcome to blog number 1 for my sound recreation project. I'm Jacob John, your host and the owner of this project. In these blogs and the ones to come, I'll be using a tool called the Gibbs Reflective Cycle to reflect on my process on the project, as well as give you an idea of where I'm up to and what the future plans are over a 2-week period. I'll identify strengths and weaknesses in my work and find ways to improve and discuss whether I did a sufficient amount of work, whether I get to the timetable. But first, what exactly is my project? Well, I'm kind of glad you asked, but I will provide a link at the end of this video and in the description to view the project overview, which I haven't done yet, but I presume I've done it. Additionally, I'll post future videos discussing my topic areas, and I'll go over them that I go over in this blog. They will focus on bringing my research to a conclusion, but also put them in a presentable format. So, without further ado, and probably a bit of confusion, welcome to my project timetable. As you can see, in the last 2 weeks I have been doing planning and production, research, as well as practical skills. The main things that I wanted to do this week was creating my YouTube channel and SoundCloud account, make sure my one-to-one actually achieved something, which it kind of did. It got me on track with my work, as well as researching Japanese composition, which included scoring, chords and instrumentation. After that I did some work on case studies, and also in week 2 I did my practical task of creating some tracks based on the research that I did during week 1. This is my project in its folders. As you can see, I've got specific folders for different activities and also different parts of the project, such as practical aspects, research, which you can see me going into depth now. Also you can see the work that I've put into each of these folders, such as the case studies and the instrumentation work, as well as the scales and also a bit of practical documentation. Without talking too much about the research that I did, as I'll leave that for another video, I did research into different instruments to start off with, and then I moved on music interactiveness and emotionality, which I shouldn't have done until around week 4 of the project, I think, or just in general I should have left it until a later date, but I didn't realise that I was actually doing interactive music at that point. After that I moved on to music in anime and games, which I talked about the famous Yuki Kajura, as well as Ghost of Tsushima, which has a really good soundtrack, as well as the Radwimps, which did a rock score for a movie. Howdy! We interrupt this regularly scheduled broadcast to show you some artwork from the famous Jacob John. My personal favourite piece is this one, the black piece of paper. Anyway, so these are the LP covers that I made for my project. One of them is already in use, as you'll see in the next sort of segment, or in the ones after. But here is one I haven't used right now, so this is like brand new information, if you will. These were done using pastels. However, I will be I'll be processing them digitally, so like adding proper colours to them, just to make them a bit more poppy, you know, like a bit more standy outty, if that makes sense. So here's one. We also have, everything's going wrong, the one that's currently in use. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? And this one, which is, I'm kind of undecided whether I want to use it yet. Looks quite good, I think. However, these two are the ones I did. Very cool. So these are works by the famous Jacob John, and this one was done by the famous Linda Telford. I will link her in the description. The artwork I used, I put onto my SoundCloud and YouTube account. So you can see I made some tracks, but I also made the logo that you can see in the top left hand corner there. This on Canva, which I think was a really good idea, as it kind of just makes the whole project professional and really good looking. That was a lot of work, wasn't it? While I was doing the work, and especially at the beginning, the instruments/interactive audio kind of area, I felt as if the project was going rather slow. However, I did think the content was actually quite well written, so it was rather high standard, but it just felt as if I could pick up the pace. And the second half of the week, I kind of blitzed through everything. I created several new documents, as you saw. I didn't just do the instruments and the interactive audio. I also did the case study and the composers and video game thing. So that made me feel really good about the progress that I made throughout the last 2 weeks. In terms of the art, it was an ongoing process before the start of the project, and during the last 2 weeks. With the help that I got, I was able to create an LP cover, which at the time, and I currently think, will be viable to the progress and just the project in general as we go forward. At the end of the fortnight, so kind of now, I feel really accomplished, and with the overall pacing issue being the overall problem, I think I'm quite happy overall. Strengths and weaknesses. Well, if I was being a bit cocky, I'd say there'd be dim problem. However, that wasn't really the case, if I'm being honest. In the beginning, I struggled with finding additional sources other than the ones I found in my literature review, especially for the instruments, which I failed to look into on my research. So in hindsight, I probably should have done that, but maybe I was just switched off. However, with the creation of the music, synthesis of the information, as well as explaining where I'll use it in the research, I feel like I did that really, really well. In terms of development areas and how to improve, I will suggest allocating time to finding reliable sources of information to combat that issue, and also my strengths being the effectiveness and efficiency of my work, and perhaps passion, I would even say, just my passion being really, really good. Last week, 2 weeks, I've learned a great deal, and I can't put much of it into words, which is why I kind of showed you it in pictures. But from the instrumentation to the different composers that dwell in Japan, there's so much culture and information to be found out about the Japanese. At the moment, I feel like I chose the right project for me, as it interests me no end, and I feel like I'll be like this at the end of the project. Fingers crossed, anyway. As for the next week, I failed to start my J-pop analysis and research, but I feel like it was justified in getting all the research finished and everything set up. Don't you agree? Anyway, that's kind of all, folks. I hope I see you on my next vlog if I haven't bored you with this one. And don't forget out the videos in the description and probably around here somewhere. And don't forget to subscribe if you already haven't. That's if you're seeing this on YouTube. And also, don't be afraid to ask me any questions in the comment section, or, I don't know, send me an email. And I'll get back to you eventually. A little busy right now though, so yeah. Anyway, sayonara, and see you later.